certainly looked like, Jim, when Lee was out of bounds, the defensive end played an outstanding play on defense. Kept him lateral, forced him to go for the sideline. Then he was out of bounds, and another Manatee, possibly the outside linebacker on that side, following the flow, went ahead and hit him when he was out of bounds.
We talked earlier about what the defense was going to have to do to contain this Lakeland offense. Of course, 2 15-yard penalties doesn't help, but what's going to be the plan? Do you know what the plan's going to be defensively tonight to try to handle this running attack?
Well, one of the keys for Manatee is the freshman defensive end, Zach Samuel. He was hurt in a couple of games, and teams were running outside against Manatee. Since he's been back, he was back full force against Chamberlain last week, and Chamberlain had no luck to the outside.
And Chamberlain's a team that had an awfully good season this year, went into that game 9-1, and totally outclassed in the ball game. Back to the live action, ball teed up at about the 34-yard line. Dreadnaughts, the beneficiaries of 2 15-yard penalties in a row, plus a 15-yard run by Lamar. D's back with the ball to pass. He's got time. His pass is away, and he throws it away.
Ball was overthrown there, Jim. In fact, it looked like Gary intentionally threw the ball away. Ball was intended for number 20, Kaysen, the sophomore wide receiver. Got extremely good pressure from the left side or the right side of the Manatee defensive line that forced Gary out of the pocket. Of course, we had a little mix-up. He had to bring Lee back, who was in a slot position, and bring him back to the tailback position. So that entailed hurrying Gary up a little bit, so possibly that was the reason for the overthrown pass.
Still had plenty of time to throw the ball, though. His receiver just never broke open. Well, D's under center there. The ball at the 35-yard line. Again, back to pass. He waves it. He steps up in the middle. He's going to be sacked.
It's been a long time, Jim, since we've heard fans and screaming like this on a sack there for probably at the line of scrimmage or a yard loss. Manatee's people just got on their feet and applauded that defense.
And that was Mike Stansberry on the sack for Manatee, along with about the whole rest of the defensive line.
Well, again, he's not going to be able to stand back there and wave that ball at them very long, not with this kind of defense. You know, I guess when you have the kind of potent attack that Manatee does, probably the defense doesn't get the play that it ordinarily would, like it has on this Lakeland team. I need for you to pick up with that thought, if you would, in just a moment. I'd like for you to kind of identify some of these players. Pass right over the middle. He's in there for a touchdown. Johnny the Batman James.
Johnny Batman James takes that little pass, breaks through a tackle. We got a flag on the play, Jim.
Looks like the flag, and looked like a Lakeland player was indicating that it was against Lakeland. Well, that's an unfortunate break for Lakeland, but a fine pass route there by James. He broke open over the middle.
Certainly was. He came down and posted back through the middle and tried to split the defensive backs. One was out of position. Unfortunately, with his God-given speed, he just broke it through for the apparent touchdown. Now to be called back.
And he really made a spectacular move around, I think it was Brad Smith, the corner. He was on him, and he spun around him, and he was gone.
Here's you see the slow-mo on it. Oh, he was hit well.
Broke that one tackle and then just darted through the other two.
That was Brad Smith whose tackle he broke.
All right. So the 15-yard penalty takes the ball back to the 46-yard line of the Dreadnaughts, and they'll be a third down, actually, and 29 yards to go for a first down. So a dramatic change there, dramatic change of events. From an apparent touchdown on third down and 14, it goes to third down and 29. D's back. He lost the ball up.
And it is intended again for Johnny James on what they call the alley-oop pass, Jim. He just drops back, tries to lead the receiver down the far sideline, either left or right, hoping with James' speed he can run under the ball and catch it.
But, Leon, they've got pretty good defensive back speed back there for that kind of play.
They do. In fact, Brad Smith, who was burned on the previous play, was right with him step for step. And Manatee has sometimes been accused of being a little bit weak in the defensive backfield, but no one has been able to pass that well against them.
David Matos back for the punt for Lakeland. Spiraling punt off to the right side, a little bit off the side of his foot.
Stays in the field of play and then goes out of bounds.
Down about the 16-yard line, Jim.
Well, that's going to put Lakeland in good field position. They backed them up to the 16. Leon, first time that Manatee handles the ball tonight, what do you expect to see?
I always expect to see the option play. That's generally the play you expect to see. But one thing there on the punt, which Matos did very well for Lakeland, Ronnie Mitchell is an excellent punt returner. He's returned several for touchdowns for Manatee, and he kept the ball away from it.
All right, and Mike Lewis up under center here. And he is an extraordinary player with the option play. The handoff to the fullback in the middle. The dive play to set up the option. Picks up about, looks like a little over a yard, maybe a yard and a half on the play. It's going to be second down and about 8 yards to go.
Manatee likes to challenge you right up front. Their offensive line is the key, the heart of the team. Richard Staroweski, as well known as any player on the team, he's a chance to be an All-American. He's a major college prospect, and he's a big guard, and they're very big. They try to blow you off the ball.
All right, come the option this way again, and the quarterback's tied up. That's Lewis. Throwing down.
The job done there was by the little defensive end, Johnny Curls, who came in and roped behind the tackle and was there and read the play and made the stop on the quarterback, Lewis.
Well, a fine defensive play there.
And that really was, you don't see Mike Lewis stop that easily so many times. We see it in the slow-mo. And there was great penetration by Lakeland. Penetration is something not many defensive lines get against Manatee.
Lewis being chased in his backfield, and he's sacked inside the 10-yard line.
Sacked there by number 77, defensive tackle number 88, Theo Marsh, the young sophomore defensive end. Great job of penetration, good pressure on the quarterback. By the time he's set up, he was unable to find his intended receiver.
And we're about to see a not well-known player for Manatee, because Manatee rarely punts. That's the punter, Trey Walker. Trey Walker, if he played for a school that punted a lot, would probably be one of the most well-known players on the team. He's hit many punts, even in excess of 50 yards, but he's only punted. He averages less than one punt a game.
Well, he's got his back against the wall on this particular play. The ball is going to be snapped from about the 8-yard line.
And, of course, back to receive, number 21, the 1,000-yard rusher for the Dreadnaughts, Raymond Lee. If you're wondering why there's a pause, folks, they just brought Jim Knox another sandwich. This is his third one this evening, so he will be leaving us and coming back shortly.
I was seeing where the penalty was going to put him, if that was going to make it close. And it's not going to be close. It's going to be 4th down and 9 at this point.
That penalty, a great break for Manatee. Now they're no longer pressed against the back of the end zone.
And he gets his punt away. It's a nice kick. Across the 50-yard line, bounces at the 48, inside the 45. And Manatee downs the ball at exactly the 45-yard line.
And the Dreadnought defense gets a great round of applause from the home fans here, Jim.
Now here you see, Leon, if you go over that for us for just a moment, a lot of people, we talked about the various schedules these teams play, and people here in Polk County may not be familiar with the Manatee season.
The real key games in that season was the 21-17 victory over Sarasota Riverview, and also the game against Sarasota, 38-22. Those were really the only two teams all year long that gave Manatee a challenge.
Until tonight, Denny Dunn would say. There's the pass out here. The receiver's open.
And the alley-oop pass once again, Jim, caught by number 19, Johnny James. And until number 43 can react to that and look for the eyes of the receiver when he's turning for the ball, they may have a problem with it.
And another thing that Lakeland did very well, as we see on the replay, they really isolated the receiver. It was almost impossible for the free safety to come over and help, because the receiver was so far from the middle of the action, the middle of the field.
Well, now, I need for both of you to go over the defenses as we watch them, particularly the defensive pass coverages. We see something that looks a little bit like double coverage on this side of the field. Motion out of the Dreadnaughts. D's hands off inside. Picks up maybe a yard on the play. The ball was 1st down and 10 at the 38 of the Manatee Hurricanes. I suppose this is a little bit unusual also for Manatee to be spending this much time in their end of the field during the first part of a ball game.
Field position for Manatee is usually not a problem. In fact, usually the first drive, they either stop the team right away or else march the ball right down the field. So this is a very unusual position for Manatee to be in.
Notice a change, Jim, something different. Number 11, Joe Shepard, the second-team quarterback, is in here at the wide receiver to the left.
Okay, and here comes Joe on the reverse. He's got the ball, running wide, and he pulls up to throw the ball. It's a nice pass. His receiver is wide open down there for a touchdown. And no flags on the play.
You heard it first.
I heard it first from Denny Dunn. And there's a flag on the play there. It looked like a flag was thrown over. Here's the replay of it. Watch the slow-mo coming
here's
back.
the handoff to Joe Shepard, and Shepard fakes the run to the right side. Joe is the second-team quarterback. Pulls up, and just gets the ball away before he was nailed by 52. All alone is Johnny Batman James in the end zone. Touchdown.
And that's number 52.
I'm sorry, excuse me, that's Mark Lee, number 17.
Chuck Howard putting the defensive pressure on there in the backfield. Now we have the try for point. A flag was thrown over here at the sideline. They're explaining it to the Lakeland coaching staff. Well, we'll get that word here in just a moment. And we got the try for point coming up here.
The penalty, Jim, was because there were either coaches or athletes out of the coach's box, which is designed and drawn on the outside of the playing field. There's a neutral zone where the coaches aren't allowed to go that close to the field.
The high snap, kick is up, and it's good. We got a 7-0 ball game.
John Franson, the young Swede, kicks the ball through.
6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the ball game. I'm sorry, left in the first quarter.
Let me ask Leon, can he remember Manatee ever being scored on first?
I think it has happened once or twice, but it is very rare. Manatee usually comes out of the box on top.
Well, you know, you and I were talking about coming back up to the press box. We were talking about last year's game. Really, Manatee controlled that game, the whole game. Valiant effort by the Dreadnaughts, and of course they were very close at the end of the ball game. And as Denny mentioned, a pass interception. By the way, they're assessing the penalty on the kickoff, but a pass interception did seal the victory. But they were really with the running attack they had last year, really in control of that game the whole way.
Okay, Jim, as you can see, the penalty has been marked off prior to the kickoff for approachment of the white line. They called it unsportsmanlike conduct. Players were too close to the playing field. And I might add, that happened after the touchdown, and I don't know, Jim, if there was excitement and just a lot of enthusiasm, and maybe that's the kind of game we're going to see.
Well, I guess you only have to call that about once a season to make the point to people, but that's a heck of a time to get it called on you. So Manatee should end up with good field position here, Leon. A fine kickoff, taken on the fly at the 22-yard line, brought back up the middle, and brought down at about the 37-yard line.
And the Lakeland kicking game has been very successful. They've kept the ball both times away from Ronnie Mitchell, who's the real dangerous threat returning the ball for Manatee.
That tackle on that kickoff, number 45, a great special team player, Eric Hall. Okay, Jim, you mentioned earlier you wanted to know about the defense. Lakeland is staying in what we call its 50 front, 50 defense, with five defensive linemen, White and Alfonso Milton at linebacker, and then 4 defensive backs that are positioned to the strong side or the weak side of the field.
The fullback handoff for about a 7-yard gain right up the middle. Well, now, on defense, this Lakeland defense play a zone, man-to-man, roll-up zone?
They'll play a roll-up zone where one back will have the responsibility of the flat, 3 other backs will have the deep 1/3.
Well, we've got a minute here. During the next couple of plays, I'd like for you, Leon, please, to set that offense for the Manatee Hurricanes. I don't think we got a chance to do that at the outset. And if you'd set the defense, Denny, for the Dreadnaughts. All right, we got the handoff. Here's the pass over the middle. Got a tight end wide open. And he picks up about 20, maybe 25 yards on the play. He's down inside the 30.
And let's start setting that offense with Trey Walker, the tight end who just caught that pass.
The man you identified as a punter earlier as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he's more known as a tight end because he handles the ball more from the tight end position. And here we see the replay. Mike Lewis, and he can throw. He's known as a runner, but he has an excellent arm. Trey Walker was wide open. It's hard to play defense against the pass against Manatee.
Hand off to the tailback right up the middle. He's got some running room off to the left. And he's very close to another first down.
One of the things we didn't get to mention in the pregame show is that man right there, Steve. He's known as Slick Gaskin. Slick was not the starting tailback at the beginning of the season. Rodney Sanders was. Rodney Sanders had almost 1,000 yards during the year. However, Slick played a lot all year long, so it's not as if it's a new man coming onto the field. It's someone with experience, and he's very tough.
How about identifying some of this beef with the sevens as the first number?
Okay. The offensive line, and I believe this to be the best, possibly the best offensive line in the history of high school football. The center is Frank Brunner. The guards are Macy Mitchell and Richard Starweski. The tackles, Eric Stickler and Harry George. 4 of those 5 were on the all-district team, and the 5th, he came in during the season. They transferred one to defense.
All right, we've got a break in the action here. Let's go to the interview we had a chance to put on tape for you earlier with Manatee coach Canan. All right, well, we'll stay live here. We'll be back with that question for Coach Canan here in just a moment. We had a chance to speak with him before the ball game and put it on tape for you, and also an interview question with Coach Castle earlier. The handoff to the tailback in the middle, and he's stacked up. That was a first down and 10 play. Going to bring up second down at about 9.
But if we were finishing setting up the rest of the Manatee offense, in addition to that great forward wall, you have the tight end, Trey Walker. The wide receiver, Ronnie Mitchell, plays most of the time. The other 2 wide receivers shuttle plays, Derek Mays and Joe Bennett. The quarterback is Mike Lewis. The fullback is Alfonso Clark, and the tailback is Steve Slick Gaskin.
All right, Lewis under center. Hand off to the tailback in the middle, the fullback in the middle.
Okay, Jim, setting that defense for Lakeland at cornerback, Reggie Webb, number 15. 22, Barnett Driver, the cornerback. Linebacker, Alfonso Milton. Strong safety is Donald Milton, his brother. Free safety, Don Houston. The other linebackers, Amos White. Nose guard, Banks Allen. Defensive tackle, Chris Fry. Defensive tackle, number 77, Lorenzo Adams. Defensive end, sophomore Theo Marsh. And number 13, Johnny Curls.
All right, we got a flag on the play here. It looks like it's going to be a procedure penalty. No, they marked it offsides. It's an encroachment penalty.
Been a tremendous amount of flags early in the game.
I guess the referees really are trying to take control of the game, make sure it doesn't get away from them in any way. Of course, we expect to see 1 or 2 encroachment penalties during the course of any high school football game, as tight as that penalty is.
Well, you know, one thing they don't want, and there has been a lot of heated football games between these two. They were quite big rivalries 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm sure they want to set the stage and let the athletes know that they're not going to have anything but the best sportsmanlike conduct.
Well, we've certainly seen a lot of that already tonight, but the referee's taking control of the game early. Lewis under some pressure in the backfield. He's being chased, and he's tackled. He's brought down for about a 5 or 6 yard loss on the play.
Good pressure put on, Jim, and the final tackle made by Lorenzo Adams, the sophomore defensive tackle.
And that's going to bring up 4th down and maybe 17 or 18 yards for the first down. 3 minutes and 7 seconds left in the first quarter. 7-0. Here you see the replay. What happens here? It looks like the offensive line just collapses a little bit.
They got penetration, which again is very rare, but in addition, the big key to this is the excellent secondary play by Lakeland. And Andy Elton can hit him from this far. He's hit him from 50 yards.
The kick is up. It's long enough. And it's good. It cleared the bar by 4 or 5 feet. That still counts 3 points, doesn't it, Den?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Jim.
And that was about a 44-yarder, a tremendous kick for a high school field goal kicker.
So the score is 7-3 here with 2 minutes and 41 seconds left in the first quarter. An action-packed first quarter. Both teams with the ball on 2 occasions. See part of the crowd here.
Jim, I think that was a very, very important score for Manatee. It's lifted their spirits again. It's going to give them a lot of motivation. There's another good shot of the Manatee stands over there. The fans, which are they are full, Jim. They brought a lot of people here. They've sold 2,400 tickets down there. What a great following.
Well, they sure had a packed house last year for this same playoff game that was down at Manatee. And Denny was talking about the rivalry. I know you were mentioning to me before that I think Manatee, it'd been a long time since Manatee had lost a regular season game.
Well, I was informed by Leon that they did lose one since it was the Lakeland game, but it was a bowl game that they played 2 years ago. 2 years ago. The last time that they were beaten in regular season play was right here on this field in 1982. The Dreadnaughts beat them.
And the ball is fumbled on the kickoff, picked up at about the 5-yard line, brought right back up the middle, and he's got some good yardage out to about the 23. Mothersill on the carry. Okay, with the ball teed up at about the 23-yard line, what do you expect to see here on offense, Denny?
Well, you'll probably see Castle play the first play or two relatively conservative, maybe going to the base, to the fullback, or the option to Lee. But I think to beat Manatee, he's going to have to throw the ball.
Well, some early passing here certainly has caught Manatee a little bit by surprise. And they come with a pitch to this side of the field. The cutback by the running back. He picks up looks like about 3 yards on the play.
That was Raymond Lee carrying the ball there, Jim. Now, with a gain of 3, you may see Castle throw on this play. But normally, he'll either throw on first down or third down. Not necessarily, he'll try to stay with the system, establish the ground game a little bit if he can, although he's not had much luck doing that so far.
I got a chance to talk to both of you before the ball game about the fact that both of these teams are really loaded with college prospects.
That's absolutely correct. And Manatee particularly along the lines.
There's that alley-oop again over the head of the defender this time.
And especially the offensive line. Defensively, you have Scott Booth, who has played both offensive and defensive line, and I think that kind of versatility would be very attractive to a school. And I have also a very interesting story among the Manatee defense. That's the free safety, Mark Jensen. He ruptured his spleen early in the season, had surgery, and now has come back and playing full strength.
That's an amazing recovery during the course of a season. See motion here out of the backfield. D still has the ball being pressured. He gets his pass away, and it is intercepted, I believe. Yes, they've called it intercepted, and the ball's going to be at the 39-yard line of the Lakeland Dreadnaughts. A big break.
Vince Crawford for Manatee, and Manatee's defensive backs have played very well this year. Nobody's had a lot of success throwing against Manatee.
Here's a replay, and you see D's rolling out to the right side. He's got one receiver out in the flat and throws just a little bit over the head of his intended receiver, number 17, Mark Lee.
All right, so Lewis with the ball. He's still got the ball on the option play. He's got some running room outside here. He ran in the off-tackle hole, and he's got plenty of yardage down the sideline, run out of bounds at about the 15-yard line.
Mike Lewis is a very dangerous ball carrier, and if he can make that inside cut, which he was able to do there, he can go a very long way.
Well, of course, that play opens up in there.
The saving tackle, I might add, was by Alfonso Milton, number 23, who saved the touchdown.
Of course, the beauty of that option play, and of course we see so many teams, Oklahoma and some of the other teams that run the wishbone type attack on the option play, and of course they run their option play out of the eye at Manatee. Again, there's the handoff, the first player through the fullback. The beauty of that play is that people have to converge on the person they think has the ball. Freezes linebackers and opens that kind of off-tackle hole like we saw coming this way on that play.
And what you have to respect with Mike Lewis is he can pitch after he's been hit. He's very good at that. He keeps great control of his body, so you have to watch for that sweep, even if he's in the grasp of one of the defenders.
Lewis under center, second down and about 8 yards to go. Fullback carry again. And he's picked up looks like about 4 or 5 yards on the play. It's going to bring up third down. Third down, it looks like about 4.
Tackle made there by Alfonso Milton and by Donald Houston, the free safety. But once again, if they can continue to get this penetration to the secondary and the deeper part of the linebackers, they've got to do a little more controlling at the front line.
All right, that's the end of the first quarter. We've got a break in the action here with the score 7-3 in favor of the Lakeland Dreadnaughts. And while we've got a break in the action, we're going to hear that interview we were talking about earlier with Coach Canan. We had a chance to ask Coach Canan, how would you compare this year's Dreadnaught team with last year's team?
Well, they're a different team. They've got different personnel, a different character. I believe they're a little more option-oriented football team than what they were in the past. I know looking at them on film, they wanted to run the option, where last year they were more of a sprint draw power football team and throwing the football off of it. I also think maybe last year they wanted to throw the football a little bit more than what they've shown this year. Defensively, I'd say they may be quicker on defense this year than they were last year. They have lost a couple great players. They lost David Williams, who was one of the best in the nation last year, but they've got a lot of good, solid kids that have replaced him. So they may not have the one super individual standout, but they've got a good, solid nucleus of players. I don't think overall size-wise they're probably quite as big as what they were last year.
While we were away on third down, they ran the ball for about a 2-yard gain, brings up 4th down and 4, and they're going to go for the field goal. The snap was a little bit mishandled, but the kick is up, and it's good. That's another 3 points, makes it 7-6. With 11:13 left in the first half.
Jim, I've got to add that even though they've scored 6 points, I think the defense is playing spectacular football. Manatee drove the ball down the field, and when it got to be crucial situation, 3rd and 3, they held them.
We talked, I know, before the game about what you expected to see, and of course you told me that their place kicker at Manatee has been an excellent one all year. Has that been something they've had to go to very often?
Well, yeah, they have kicked a lot of field goals, which is normally surprising for a team that dominates so much. But part of the reason for that is that Andy Elton can hit from 50 yards. He is better than most even college kickers. He's a superb athlete, and he's got a leg that you just don't see at a high school level.
Well, again, we were talking about college prospects, and I'm sure he's considered one highly scouted.
And he's only a junior.
There's the kickoff, and it's deep over to this sideline, taken at the 6-7 yard line, brought back into the middle of the field.
That was Mothersill, Sebastian Mothersill, number 27, the junior running back, returning the kickoff up to about the 27.
So a pickup of about 20 yards on the return. A nice deep kick and over to the sideline. Does he have the ability to place the ball that well?
He does, and what he does that a lot of kickers are unable to do at the high school level is not only can he get distance on his kicks, but he can also get height.
All right, about 4th or 5th time that Lakeland's had the ball here tonight. What do you expect to see here, Denny? 1st and 10 with a slot to the left, I-back formation. You got to wait till the play starts to tell me what you expect. Nice run out to this side of the field. Run out of bounds at about the 42-yard line.
Good job there by the tailback for the Dreadnaughts, Raymond Lee, the senior running back, who many feel will after the exposure last week and tonight, possibly, you know, it's ironic. Leon was mentioning how many blue chippers that the Manatee Hurricanes have, but I've seen more college coaches. Here's the play again. Lee breaks to the outside, stumbles a little bit, continues to head for the sideline, and is driven out of bounds there. But I've seen more young men get picked up on college scholarships because we're only down to 4 football games in 4A tonight, and many coaches are here and find a lot of prospects.
Well, they couldn't be at a better game tonight in the state of Florida. They're looking for college football prospects. And we've got a flag on the play. It may be too much time.
That's the call, delay of game.
Okay, so that's going to cost them 5 yards. Going to bring up, that'll be 1st down and 15.
Jim, as we look on the monitor, we can see that there's the 84 Lakeland season. Of course, the 2 losses they suffered this year, one to Winter Haven of 21-20 when Castle decided to go for the the win in the double overtime, and then again the loss 27-13 down at Merritt Island. And as you can see, the rest of the scores, the Winter Park, who's playing tonight, Lakeland was the only team to have beaten them this year, 21-14, and they are playing down in the South region this evening.
There's the pitch back to the tailback. He's got some running room outside. There's a flag on the play in the backfield. He strings it out to the sideline, but not much of a gain on the play. I didn't see
in the likely zone for a clip back there.
Thrown in the offensive backfield, the place where you ordinarily say, well, they're calling this holding. Ordinarily see some penalty by an offensive lineman or something like that when the flag is thrown in that position. That was on first down and 15. If they take the penalty here, of course, it's going to set them back another 15 yards. It's really going to be a bad field position.
There's the replay, and the Manatee had great suit. They kept stringing the play out, and then the stop.
All right, so that's going to bring up, when they take the penalty, it's still going to be first down, but it's going to be first down and a bunch.
First and 30, I believe, will be the final tally.
Well, we got 10 minutes and 33 seconds left here in the first half. We've talked earlier in the season, Leon, about Denny and I have, when we were doing some Lakeland games, talked about what it's going to mean to these Polk County teams, and there are at least, 2 or 3 Polk County teams that are going to go 5A. What's that going to mean as far as Manatee's schedule?
Well, one thing for Manatee is, go ahead and call this play.
You see the reverse angle there, our handheld camera on the other side of the field. It's coming wide to this side of the field. A stiff arm picks him up a couple of extra yards, but running play is only going to net maybe 7 or 8 yards on the play.
Manatee had 7 home games this year, had very little travel per se. Even most of the travel games were fairly close. I think what 5A is going to do for Manatee that will be negative is, number one, there'll probably be fewer home games, and number two, I think there's going to be some very long trips, possibly to places like Miami.
Well, of course, Denny and I had a chance to talk earlier in the season about whether that kind of play, of course, it's really on a kind of a test basis of first couple of years. I don't know what kind of commitment the Athletic Association made to it. You see, again, the reverse angle from the other side of the field from our handheld camera, and the pass is complete over the middle. He picks up about 15 yards on the play, didn't he?
Pass complete to number 17, a young man who scored the touchdown earlier, Mark Lee. I couldn't help but noticing there in the shot we had as D's dropped back, the penetration made by the defensive right tackle was just amazing, how he came through that football, or through that offensive lineman, and drove him backwards. But to get to the 5A, Jim, of course, we thought initially that it may hurt us financially because of our travel. For example, if we're playing Sarasota High School or Sarasota Riverview year in and year out, they don't traditionally bring a lot of fans for a regular season game. If all the games were like this, we'd be in seventh heaven.
Third down, 17 yards to go for the first down. The pass is out there, but it's a little overthrown. Offensive player trying to fish a flag out of that, but no soap out of the referee. He's not going to go for that. So it's going to bring up fourth down in a punting situation.
And we saw Manatee bring in some extra defensive backs. Perry Mapes came in at defensive back, as well as Ronnie Mitchell. So that's something that Manatee has done throughout the year in passing situations.
David Matos back for the Dreadnaughts. He's had an outstanding year as their punter.
He gets a nice punt away. It's a spiral. It's fair catch at about the 27-yard line. So a fine kick there. A little over 40 yards on the punt. Manatee will take over. Here's the pass play earlier. Now you can see here there was a little contact as the ball came by, but incidental and not really pass interference. All right, so that's going to bring up first down and 10. The ball at the 26-yard line of the Hurricanes. Again, this fine punting there is keeping Lakeland in good field position as far as their defense goes. All right, Mike Lewis under center. He's still got the ball. The pass over the middle is caught, and it's going to be a foot race to the end zone. And he's gone. What speed!
That's Ronnie Mitchell. He's the #1 receiver for Manatee. He had, I believe, 23 catches on the year. And Ronnie's an all-district player, definite blue-chip college prospect, and that's tough on a team that runs most of the time.
A beautiful catch and run. Here you see it on replay. Lewis still has the ball. Just a beautiful pass, splitting the zone there, and the free safety.
Well, 35, the free safety, of course, was overplaying with the flow and slipped as soon as the man caught the football. I'm not saying he would have made the tackle, but he was out of position.
Well, unfortunately, he slid into the other safety. But a fine catch and run, not to take anything away from the receiver, because he sure made that one. I don't think anybody on this football field would have caught him on that play.
When you give Ronnie Mitchell a step, whether on as a wide receiver or as a punt or kickoff returner, he's gone.
Okay, so we got the try for 2 points. Lewis still has the football going to his right, looking for a receiver in the end zone. He cuts back, and he's into the end zone himself.
And that's why Mike Lewis is such a great threat. He just threw the long bomb for the touchdown. There, Lakeland had to respect the pass, and as a result, he got the 2-point conversion on the run.
Well, he strung it out to the sideline, Denny, and once he got out there, he could pick a hole to run to.
Of course, the linebackers and the tackles are trying to penetrate it parallel the line of scrimmage and stay with them to cause them to cut upfield, but they just got too many gaps in between them, as you can see here. You'll see the linebacker, Amos White, struggling out here. They're all trying to play to protect the goal line. He cuts back across the grain and cuts back into where there wasn't as much flow.
And a fine offensive surge by Lewis makes the touchdown. That makes the score 14-7 with 9 minutes and 7 seconds left in the first half. And we're set for the kickoff. Well, again, we talked about schedules. Again, Cardinal Mooney was down at Mulberry last week. It was the first time they'd really been blasted hard. But both of these teams have had tough seasons all year. There's the touchback. The ball goes into the end zone on the kickoff.
You mentioned that about the tough season, but I was talking to Tampa Chamberlain coach Billy Turner prior to last week's game, and he felt that Manatee did not have that tough of a schedule this year, although they played Riverview, which was a very fine team, and Sarasota High, which came on towards the end of the season. He felt that Manatee played a lot of the Pinellas County 4A schools, which were really not that strong this season.
Other than, I guess, St. Petersburg.
Leon, you mentioned that big game with Riverview. I heard that was a sellout crowd down there, and both of them were undefeated at the same time.
They were #1 and #4 in the state. Supposedly 14,000 people at that game.
Okay, Dees with a handoff to the tailback in the backfield. He's got some running room out here, makes it on his own. Looks like he picked up about 8 yards on the play. It's going to bring up second down. Leon, I want to ask you about something Denny mentioned before the game, and we were talking before the game about the fact that this Manatee Hurricane team is rated #1 in the state, and then recently we've gotten some press about somebody who's rating high school teams nationally. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, USA Today has been doing a national poll, and Manatee's been in it virtually the entire year. They started at around #7, I believe, and they've steadily moved up. I believe they're either #2 or 3 now.
You see our reverse angle there. Pitch to the tailback. Looks like he's got his first down.
It was Raymond Lee again running the ball and diving for what we think is the first down, Jim. I think they're going to call for a measurement. No, he called it first down.
First down. So that's first down and 10. The ball's going to, as we say, be spotted about the 31-yard line of the Dreadnaughts. That's a tough area of the field to get a first down on this Hurricane defense.
It sure is. They really play tough here because Manatee generally controls the field position throughout the ballgame.
We talked about their offensive size. They're a big team defensively as well. We'll get into that in just a moment here. D's under center. You see the reverse angle from our sideline camera on the other side. There's a complete pass to the tight end.
No, they had Raymond Lee out in the slot.
I'm sorry, yeah.
And Raymond just sprinted straight ahead, and Dees stepped back, rifled a sparrow right into his chest, and for a sizable gain, Jim.
We've got an injured player on the field.
Down for the Hurricanes.
While we've got a break in the action, we had a chance to ask a question of Coach Bill Castle earlier, and we got that on tape for you. We asked him, what do you think about this awesome Manatee team? Here's Coach Castle's answer.
I love you. I'll always be true. So please love me do.
Well, they've been ranked number 1 in the state all year, and they hadn't showed anything not to prove that they don't deserve those rankings, and certainly they're ranked number 3 in the nation. Now, that's what's impressive. They got some impressive stats. They're averaging 45 points a game, and their offensive line averages 255 pounds on the offensive line. So they've got a great football team. A lot of people are saying maybe this is one of the finest high school teams that's been in the state in an awful long time. So it's a challenge for us, but it's one we certainly look forward to playing Manatee coming over here Friday night.
Please stay tuned for more of the Manatee versus Lakeland playoff game here on Centel Cable Television, Channel 8.
Taking a quick look at the jet stream, we find this is the reason for all our warm.
Well, Denny, I know that these fans in these two cities, Bradenton and Lakeland, don't get a chance to see these teams except once a year. It looks like both these teams are going to make the sectional playoffs each year for quite a while now, but other than that, they don't get a chance to see each other during the year. And I was wondering if you might give a little profile of Lakeland coach Bill Castle for the Manatee fans.
Well, Bill has been with Lakeland for 9 years. In fact, we came to Lakeland together back in the 75-76 year. He's as a head coach. And Bill has been very successful, though. He's won the district here the last 5 out of the 6 years. And Jim, we'll go back to you for the play-by-play and then come back with Bill.
Okay, they come in the I formation with split to both sides of the field. There's the option play and coming to this side of the field. It's forced, but he's outside. Lee's got some running room, and he picks up about 5 or 6 yards on the play.
Bill's a native of Hendersonville, Tennessee, and he attended Tennessee Tech University. Started 4 years as a defensive back for them. Left Tennessee Tech, got his master's degree, left there, and came to Columbia County at Lake City High School as an assistant coach, coached the secondary for Paul Quinn, very successful. In fact, the winningest coach in the state of Florida, active coach. And then Bill was named head coach here when Paul went down to Bartow, and has been here for 9 years as the head man.
And of course, that Paul Quinn team is playing again tonight, and they're the number 1 team in this state as well. And he's caught. He juggled the ball out there, and he's got some running room now. Well, he was down. He fumbled the ball after he was down on the field, but just excellent concentration, Denny.
Ball was caught once again by Batman, Johnny Batman James. The skill of the reception, Jim, was what he did after he had the ball and had possession. Watch here again. As D just gets the ball away, James tip, finally pulls it in. Now watch him break. And the speed, cuts back across the grain, outruns one. What scares me would be the possibility of the fumble.
Well, but we saw the clip, unfortunately, on the replay, and that's going to take the play back. Well, Leon, I know you know Coach Canan, and you've had a chance to speak with him many times over the last few years. Can you give us a little bit about him?
Well, Coach Canan, although we weren't in a related field, he and I came back. He came back to Bradenton, and I came to Bradenton at the same time. He's been the coach there for 4 years, and he has a 42-4 record, which is pretty impressive. He came as the offensive coordinator from Eastern Kentucky, but I did say he came back home to Bradenton. He is from Bradenton. He attended Manatee High School, standout player there at Manatee, played for Florida State, an offensive coordinator for Eastern Kentucky. He's had job offers at the college level all over the country, and he is an outstanding coach, and in addition, a very nice man.
There you see the reverse angle where we've got our handheld camera on the other side of the field. The pass is incomplete on the sideline here. Well, there's 6 minutes and 21 seconds left in the first half. The score 14-7 in favor of the Hurricanes, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
David Matos back in for the Dreadnaughts to do the punting. With some good luck, David may be able to put them back against the wall.
The ball is going to be snapped from the 45-yard line of the Hurricanes. They put a good rush on him earlier. Let's see what they do here. Now they got the return on. They're returning on this side of the field if they can handle it down there. It takes a bounce inside the 20, and it's rolling down, rolls dead at the 15-yard line. So Manatee will take over 1st down and 10 with the ball on their own 15-yard line.
Jim, one thing Lakeland's been doing with a lot of success is keeping the ball away from Manatee's gigantic offense.
I'll tell you, that makes a lot of difference. Obviously, they're having they're not having their way with this Lakeland defense, but they're having some success mixing the pass with the run.
They are. Manatee is starting to assert itself a little better offensively than they did the first couple of series.
All right, we've got a timeout on the field. Manatee takes timeout here to talk about what they're going to do. We've got a break in the action. We had a chance to put on tape for you earlier today the Lakeland Pep Rally. Let's take a look at that colorful Lakeland Pep Rally from earlier today.
It's exciting.
Centel Boat Championship Bowling. Centel Cable Television is sponsoring a 5-member mixed team tournament.
With $1,000 in prizes.
Qualifying rounds will be held at Orange Bowl Lane,
Lakeside,
Winterdale,
and Lakeland Lanes.
Qualifying dates are October 27th and 28th.
At 1 p.m. at all bowling lanes.
For more information, call any of the participating bowling lanes.
Bowl a perfect game.
With Centel Cable Television.
For a colorful look into Polk County's best high school, watch Polk County High School Happenings Wednesday at 7:30 and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on Centel Cable Television Channel 8. There will be interviews with students, teachers, and administrators, a look at the activities of Kathleen, Winterhaven, Lake Gibson, Mulberry, Auburndale, and Lakeland High Schools, and always an element of the unexpected. Polk High School Happenings on Centel Cable Television Channel 8.
We pick up with you at live action. Lewis bobbles the ball in the backfield on the snap, but a fine recovery by Lewis, and he picks up a couple of yards on the play.
But again, Lakeland getting the defensive penetration. In many games, Mike Lewis could have dropped the ball a couple of times in the backfield, and it wouldn't have made any difference.
Well, again, you know, we talked last week about the fact that rivalries make so much difference. Of course, last week's game that we put on tape had to do a little bit with the fact that there you see our end zone shot, a little bit with the fact that Mulberry, you know, considered themselves the country boys, and here they had Cardinal Mooney, the private school, city boys coming to town. They wanted to show them what they could do. There may be a little bit of that in this ball game. I'm not really sure. This is a little bit more of a rural county, but Lakeland High School is a pretty cosmopolitan high school.
Well, it certainly is, Jim, and of course it is attracting now traditional Lakeland, in fact the community that's about filled, and also moving out to the south end, the Highlands area. I would think if you're looking at that comparison, these two teams show an awful lot of parity. About the only difference is they've got the beach at their back door.
There's some beaches around here. What are you talking about? A fine run right up the middle.
That's Alfonso Clark on the carry, and he's starting to break that dive play off, and when that dive play opens up, then the defense is really in trouble, because then they never know if it's going to be the dive, Mike Lewis off tackle, or Slick Gaskins going wide.
Well, it is that dive play. If there is no threat in the dive play, the option really is a three-legged stool with one leg cut off, because the dive play is what Denny's trying to go over that here with one of the stools in the booth, but it really does depend on the success, really, of all three angles of that option. There again, the fake to the dive. Lewis still has the ball. He reverses his field. He picks up a couple of blockers. He's got some defenders out in front of him. He makes a nifty little cut back there and picks up about 5 extra yards.
You know, Jim, he's probably one of the most elusive runners. He's never threatened, no matter what situation he seems to be in. He broke that. He ran 35 yards east and west, and then finally broke it up for about a 4 or 5 yard gain.
And he's very close to his first down here. It's going to depend on the spot of the ball. Now watch this. You can see here he gets stacked up. Go ahead, Leon.
There is a key block as he comes back here. There it is right there. I believe that was Frank Bruner, the center, and that enabled Mike to get around the opposite end.
But you see Mike take that little duck step back inside, really picked up another 4 or 5 yards just on his own ability, native ability.
That 77 was a sophomore defensive tackle that was just welcome to big-time football.
Yes, sir. There he is making the tackle, too.
But not before Alfonso Clark picked up the first down for Manatee.
And that, of course, is number 77, Lorenzo Adams, we talked about earlier. Well, again, both these teams are blessed not only with a large student body from which to draw student athletes, but as we mentioned at the top of the game, at the pregame show, both of these high schools, and of course I use the word cosmopolitan, both these high schools have really advanced studies. Lewis with the ball again, off tackle to the right, and he's into the defensive backfield, brought down after about a 15 or 20-yard gain on the play.
Jim, one of the things that beheaves Manatee is that they have a 9 through 12 situation. They get these athletes, as Leon was saying, they have one starting for them, a defensive end. They get these athletes in 9th grade. There's the fake, comes to the and just cuts back to the inside. In fact, it looked like it might have been a broken play.
Well, you know, it makes a lot of difference. I want to pick up with that thought in just a minute about the ability to draw from large groups of people. Let's pick up with the live action here. I was going to mention that Lewis is he's such a durable player. The handoff to the tailback out of the eye, and he's met hard there. Unfortunately, it's about 3 or 4 yards downfield, unfortunately for Lakeland. But, you know, he's a lot different than what we see sometimes in high school and many times in college, and that's the fragile quarterback. He certainly is not that.
He's not that at all. In fact, he's involved in virtually every play, whether it's a pass or a run. But going back to that point about the 9th grade, Manatee goes a little bit further than that. In addition to the 9th grade, you have a freshman, a JV team. You also have a youth football program in Manatee County, and they use very much the same type of offense the Manatee team, so they're starting that at a very early age.
The handoff in the middle, fine hurdle over the middle for about another 3 or 4 yards.
Brought down there by 56. I'm sorry, number 40, Amos White, the stellar linebacker for the Dreadnaughts all year.
And, of course, that's Steve Gaskin on the carry.
You know, Jim, you mentioned parity between the two communities. Another thing, when you look at the intensive football programs they have, there's also parity due to the emphasis put on the weight program at both of these institutions. Bill Castle's a firm believer in it, as I know personally, in talking with Leon and to Joe Canan, that they believe it's an intricate part of high school football.
There's a handoff to the tailback. And he picked up a lot of yards on that play on his own.
He broke 3 tackles there, and everybody thought he was down. And of course, then they relaxed.
Well, you know what makes a lot of difference, and like your comments on this, Manatee does play from the I formation. Of course, Lakeland likes that formation as well. Manatee sets up real deep with that running back.
They do, and it gives the tailback the opportunity to see the best hole. And Slick didn't even have a hole there. He just broke tackles and really did a lot of that run on his own.
But being deep back in the backfield, you see how he's set here. He must be set 7 yards off the ball. He breaks to his right for the pitch, but the handoff's to the fullback in the middle.
Chris Fry, number 56, the senior defensive tackle, and they're along with Amos White, number 40, the stellar linebacker, that held him for about a gain of a yard. The Dreadnaughts defense has, all year, Jim, has traditionally really bowed their neck, so to say, when they get the ball, when the opposing team begins to penetrate inside the 20-yard line.
Well, they got it down about the 17-yard line now. They've marked that as a gain of, my goodness, they marked it as a gain of almost 4, so they're calling it 2nd down and 6. And Lewis keeps the ball. He's got a little running room cutting back through the middle, and he twists and winds, and he picked up about, looks like he's got enough for his first down.
You know, one thing they need to be conscious of, Jim, that people can't see from watching the screen is that we're down to 54 seconds remaining in the first half of this ball game. And, of course, the ball sitting on about the 9-yard line at this point in time.
And that, again, another great individual effort from Mike Lewis, the quarterback, as he made that inside cut.
All right, Lewis under center. He's got the pitch to Gaskin this time. Got some running room around the right side. He's stacked up out there, but he picks up about 4 or 5 yards on the play. Again, 36
Real good
seconds.
pursuit from the linebackers and the strong safety, Donald Milton. But that's going to put the ball down inside the 5, I think, with 27 seconds left to go.
And the clock is running. Lewis calling out his play to his receivers. He's got 17 seconds at the time the ball snapped, and the pitch is fumbled in the backfield, and it's recovered by Lakeland. And the clock is going to stop on the turnover.
Jim, it looks like Lakeland's going to go in with behind 14-7 at this first half. That was a big break for the Dreadnaughts.
Well, it certainly looked like Manatee was going to get a chance to go on in with the ball.
I think Manatee rushed this play. They weren't really ready, and as a result, the pitch was a little bit off, but Slick probably could have had it, but didn't. I think they were just a little too rushed that time.
Well, the defender being right with him broke the play up a little bit as well. He didn't get a chance to cleanly fall on the ball, so, well, let's see what Dees wants to do. And time runs out. All right, at the end of the first half then, the score 14-7 in favor of the Hurricanes from Manatee. The teams leave the field here. We'll be back after these messages.
That's the fire alarm.
Remember when poodle skirts and bobby socks were in style? Times have changed, but both moms and their daughters still go shopping together, and they find all the latest fashions at Robin Lynn. Robin Lynn carries all the new looks for fall, from distressed denim jeans, crop tops and sweaters, to coordinates and dresses. At Robin Lynn, you can expect the same friendly service and the latest styles, because Robin Lynn is fashion in the Grove Park Shopping Plaza, Lakeland.
Any coach knows that matching the right plays with the right players makes a championship team. Matthew Harris in the Grove Park Shopping Center has that winning combination to make you look great. Choose from our wide selection of slacks, sportswear, and sweaters. If you're looking for a suit or sports coat, expert in-house tailoring guarantees a perfect fit for that special occasion. Look no further than in Matthew Harris for Izod, Robert Bruce, Damon Austin Reed, Christian Dior, and Hart Schafter and Marks. Matthew Harris suits the best.
Carpentry, industrial electricity, masonry, plumbing, diesel mechanics, welding. Ridge Vocational Technical Center has it all and has classes to fit your schedule, programs to fit your needs, and instruction to fit your skills. Ridge Votech, comprehensive, flexible, personal. Let Ridge Votech open your doors to the jobs of the 80s. Call 299-2512 for more information on exciting opportunities awaiting you at Ridge Vocational Technical Center. That's 299-2512.
For the largest selection of balloons in Polk County, come to Balloonatics in the Lakeland Mall. At Balloonatics, you can choose from a wide selection of masks, costumes, novelty items, and collectibles.
Have an orange gorilla deliver a colorful bouquet to your next birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, where there's always plenty of pizza, soft drinks, prizes, and just plain old fun, especially at Chuck E. Cheese's popular teen disco every Saturday night. Balloonatics and Chuck E. Cheese, just two of many exciting places to shop and eat in the Lakeland Mall.
And now here's the exciting Manatee Hurricane Band under the directorship of Joe Powell.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Manatee High School marching game.
the exciting Manatee Hurricane Band under the directorship of Joe Powell and Howard Lerner. Next, we have the halftime show by the Lakeland Dreadnaught Band under the directorship of John Carmichael. Magnificent Lakeland Dreadnaught Band under the directorship of John Carmichael. Be sure to look for them on this year's Rose Bowl Parade Day. We'll be back after these messages with the second half kickoff.
From Perfect Pets in the Lakeland Mall. Perfect Pets is Polk County's most complete pet store with a large selection of hand-fed parrots and other birds, fresh and saltwater fish, and the always popular AKC-registered lovable puppies.
Not too far from Perfect Pets is Athletic Attic, which carries the largest selection of sports shoes in Polk County. Athletic Attic specializes in aerobic wear for women and equipment for practically all individual and team sports. Perfect Pets and Athletic Attic, two exciting places to shop in the Lakeland Mall.
Is this how your family spends a typical Saturday?
Come on, lawnmower. Ryan! Okay, guys, stop it.
Come on.
Good stuff going here tonight.
Thanks.
Get away from it all in a camper from Conabear.
Something special seems to happen when you put a kid on a Schwinn BMX.
And there's Donnie Atherton, the national BMX champ in position 3. Atherton takes a quick lead, followed by Monty Carlton and Jerry Fields. It's Atherton into the straightaway.
For every Schwinn BMX that makes headlines winning a race, thousands of other Schwinns win races
Atherton first.
you never hear about.
For this second half of action. Well, I don't know what they'd have been talking about in the various locker rooms. Of course, I'm sure Manatee was disappointed they didn't score right there at the end.
In fact, that has happened twice to Manatee against Riverview. Slick Gaskin also fumbled near the end zone. This one, though, not really his fault, as it was a bad pitch.
Well, if you're Coach Bill Castle, what would you have said at halftime, Denny?
Well, I think, honestly, Jim, I was talking to some people downstairs, and, you don't realize that first half was marred by a lot of penalties. A lot of very important penalties. What a great break there. The ball was fumbled a little bit and finally got possession by Manatee and brought back to about the 4.5-yard line. So what a great way for Lakeland to start the second half.
Well, of course, Manatee's going to have to start with their backs against the wall, but you were talking about, obviously, this was a fine first half for Lakeland. Obviously, they got nothing to be ashamed of. I suspect, maybe I'm wrong, Leon, but I suspect that this is probably as tight or as tough a contest maybe as Manatee's been in since the Riverview game.
I think you'd be correct in that. The one thing that was happening as we see the first play of the second half.
My goodness, a fine gain on the first play of the second half.
Clark. But the one thing that started to happen as we got towards the end of the second quarter, Manatee started doing the long ball control drives. And, of course, that's their trademark. And if Manatee can control the ball, nobody's going to beat them.
Well, again, I guess there's a tendency in this kind of ball game when you know you're playing such a tough defense. I guess there's a tendency to want to mix it up a little bit and do a little bit of razzle-dazzle. But as you mentioned, there's our end zone shot looking into the Manatee huddle again from the handheld camera in the end zone, and you get a chance to see what the backs see when they come up to the line. But just the sticking with the straight offense really worked for them there toward the end of the first half. Again, the handoff to the fullback, and looks like he's got another first down.
And he was back into the secondary, Jim, before he was tackled again, which, as Leon just said, Manatee is, for the first two plays this second half, are playing straight ahead, controlled football. They're winning the football game right now on the line of scrimmage.
Well, as a former defensive back yourself, there's nothing more awe-inspiring than seeing a large fullback come through untouched through the line of scrimmage.
With a build-up amount of speed and a 165-pound defensive back going after a 230-pound fullback.
And
once again, that's the last three plays. The momentum has been, or the tackles have been made by the free safety, the strong safety, and the cornerbacks.
Well, what's missing? Are they not stunting in the defensive line?
No, I think the problem has been the linebackers, for some reason, are not staying at home. We're rolling them to the right or rolling them to the left. They're not making penetration through the line. They're supposed to read the football.
Well, is that a stunt that's being picked up? In other words, are they moving? You see a fine shot from the sideline. Again, that's our handheld camera down on the field. Are they moving with the ball? Let's watch the defensive line here and see what's going on. Well, again, we see the dive play out of the fullback again. I say fullback, and just as soon as I say that, the halfback gets up off the ball.
You know, Jim, one of the things that's difficult is both linebackers sitting in there don't weigh. Alfonso Milton probably weighs 180 pounds, and Amos White, the premier linebacker, about 190, 191. And they've got to take on the young man that Leon mentioned earlier, the blue chip all-star guard that they have. And that's his work is cut out for him.
Well, again, some more of that, Leon, some more of that pounding offense. You see it right up the middle again, just running straight ahead football with the fullback.
That's Alfonso Clark, and you're talking about the guard. The guard who's achieved the most notoriety for Manatee is Richard Staroweski, and he tips in at about 285. And it's awful tough when you're about 100 pounds less than that to try to do much with him. But the other guard, who doesn't get quite the play but is excellent, and probably I think almost the entire offensive line is a good candidate for scholarship, is Macy Mitchell, and he moves them out too.
Lewis still has the ball, and he's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
You know, Jim, I'd like to ask Leon, how many of these offensive starters are seniors?
You caught me napping there a little bit. Richard Staroweski, he is a senior, and he's likely he's very much a major college prospect. In addition to that, Richard Staroweski, he's number 73. Frank Bruner, he's also a senior, the center. Macy Mitchell is a junior. So there's some players returning.
Lewis again tied up in the backfield. He pitches the ball, and Lakeland's on top of it. Well, I don't think he meant to do that, Leon.
Mike Lewis was carrying the ball a little bit loose that time. I think he wanted to pitch, but there was nobody to pitch to. And Lakeland, taking advantage of the turnover, they did it at the end of the first half, and now they're doing it again. Lakeland, a very opportunistic team tonight.
The fumble was recovered by Chris Fry, number 56. Here's the play again. You'll see Lewis gets caught by a shirt, has the ball, and seemingly wanted to hand off to 33, and it was just a poor handoff at that time.
Well, he just tried to do one too many things with the ball. All right, so Gary Dees under center. First possession for Lakeland in the second half with 8 minutes left in the third quarter, and we get the pitch on the reverse play. He's got some running room down the left sideline. It's a foot race down there to the end zone. And he's run out of bounds. It looks like at about the 10-yard line. We'll see where they mark the ball over there. Well, again, they're playing. Do you see the Lakeland fans pretty excited about this? Again, the trick play seems to work very well for him, Denny.
Here it is again. He came down the line. Dees didn't pitch to James. James makes an outstanding move to the inside and then just breaks for the sideline, Jim, and outlegs And when he feels penetration, you'll see him. He'll step out of bounds down here when the angle of pursuit was down here by number 44, the free safety.
Well, he was not going to make it to the end zone. I think it's a wise choice to take the step out. All right, here's Dees under center. High back formation behind him. He hands off to the second back, who takes it wide out here to the right side. He's got some running room now. Makes a cutback. He's inside the 5-yard line. He's down at about the 4.
Great job of running by Lee. It was kind of a fluid move, Jim. He ran to the outside and stayed parallel until he could try to get ahead or to let that linebacker make a commitment. When he did, he cut back inside and had sizable gain. So the ball's up there. Here it is again. You'll see him run fluidly to the outside. Then he cuts that upfield and tries to outleg that 44, the free safety.
And he's doing what sometimes has been successful against Manatee, and that's running wide.
You mentioned that at the very top of the game. They do have trouble. There's Rufus Lamar. He's close to the end zone. Gary Dees, you see, signaling that's about a foot short of the end zone. And it's going to bring up, I believe that's going to bring up 3rd down. Unless that was the first down. No, they made the first down on the play, so it's going to be 1st down and goal to go, looks like. Let's see what the...
what you'll probably see here, Jim, is a power eye, 2 backs, fullback and a tailback, and then a back sitting to the right of the fullback. And the ball will more than likely be run to the offensive right side of the line over Jim Everett, Steve Masenchek, the tight end.
Well, the referee standing right in the way of Gary Dees there. There's Gary on the handoff, and he's into the end zone. It's Mark Lee.
Jim, that was Raymond Lee diving up and over for the Lakeland touchdown with 6:50 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Right now it's 14-13 Manatee, and Bill Castle says, let's kick it.
And I guess that's really not a surprise in this situation, because you got to feel like you're not going to win this game with 15 points.
Well, I agree, and I don't think, I think he's looking ahead and saying, well, it's too early in the game to think this is the last touchdown. And the kick is no good. Well, that's the only bad thing that can happen that way, Denny.
And that's a very rough break for Lakeland, and in fact may force a 2-point situation later in the game. That may be looked back upon as a very serious problem.
All right, here's the touchdown again by Raymond Lee, up and over the top, and he scored easily. Again, a fine pile-up in the middle, a fine offensive surge by that line.
Certainly was, and of course, Jim, you know from your football experience, once you get inside the 3, the offensive linemen begin to smell that goal line, and it's a lot more enthusiasm, a lot more adrenaline, and you play a little bit above your head.
Well, it's that offensive surge that makes so much a difference there, and of course that isolates it with running backs. Oh, he slips down on the kickoff, and it's a shag kick right over the middle, picked up at about the 35-yard line, but not advanced very far.
And that was the center, Frank Brunner, who made that return, and a lot of coaches would probably be a little bit upset with Frank for running with that one.
I'm not sure if we got that on tape to show you, but the kicker lost his footing as he was planting his foot to kick the ball, and his feet went out from under him, and he just shanked it right up the middle of the field. Lucky to get the ball up the middle of the field. Kind of surprised his own team there.
Frank Brunner is a very athletic center, and in fact, if Manatee scores another touchdown, you'll see a fancy move he does after a score.
And still not brought down. Lewis still has the ball, and he's run out of bounds on the far sideline. Well, you see the Lakeland defender kicking the ground there. He had him in his grasp.
You know, Jim, that goes back to, basic fundamental football. They've got to hit, squeeze, and drive. They can't think that somebody else is going to come in and help them make the tackle. See, we've got another, we seem to have every week we get these cramp ailments into the 3rd and 4th quarter of the game.
All right, here you see the replay.
77 has his hands on Lewis. He's stopped, but he didn't grab and wrap his arms.
He tried to sling him down, and Lewis just pulled away. Lewis still had his footing and just pulled him down.
Well,
we've got a break in the action here with that cramp injury by one of the Lakeland players. While we've got a break in the action, well, they're going to try to help him off the field here, it looks like. So I guess we're going to go ahead. They're not going to take a timeout. I believe it is just cramps, don't you? It didn't look like he suffered an injury. I think he just pulled up, Lane. Here tonight's officials, the referee is Dick Erlenbaugh. Bud Holt is the umpire. Larry Mayhew, the line judge. The linesman is Gene Swift. The back judge, Mike Holt. And the clock's being run by Bill McCall. Again, we mentioned, I think you mentioned earlier that
the officials are, whenever they're playing a game like this, they get them from another area, Jim.
Might remind you that the Florida High School Athletic Association announces that this regional football playoff game is sponsored by the Florida High School Activities Association. This association is presently composed of 564 high schools that have voluntarily united themselves for the purpose of supervising and directing interscholastic contests. The interscholastic activities program is designed to serve both participants and the spectators. Students learn from travel, from other young people of similar age and experience, from visiting other schools. Inter-school activities in all cases should be planned with emphasis on educational values. The opportunities to develop physically, morally, and socially are added desirable bonuses. As a result of this program, an estimated 200,000 junior and senior high school students annually benefit directly or indirectly from their school's membership in the Florida High School Activities Association.
Great job, Jim, done not only reading that you just did, but also by Alfonso Milton down on the field there at linebacker, who stopped. That was a big play for him, 2nd and 12, and made a great game-saving stop right there.
That's going to bring up 3rd down and 9. Well, you hear the Lakeland fans calling for defense, and of course, we've seen some awfully good defense tonight on both sides, Leon.
Lakeland is playing an exceptional defensive game against a powerful offense.
Lewis still has the ball in his own backfield. He's going to run up the middle. He gets hit it and almost looked like he dropped the ball there, but he held on to it. And he gets the ball out to the 43-yard line. That's going to bring up 4th down and about 5 yards to go for the 1st down. Maybe 4th down and 4. A punting situation. And the ball spotted at the 43-yard line of the Manatee Hurricanes.
And Jim, back there's the play again. He fakes both ways, but how elusive he is back there. He's very, very dangerous. Boy, would I hate to be the secondary coach with him back there as the quarterback. Of course, they had one just out of the same mold last year at quarterback down at Manatee.
That's right.
Back to receive deep is Raymond Lee.
Kicks a little bit end over end, going to be hard to handle, and it takes a Manatee bounce, and it's going to roll dead inside the 10. Rolling down at about the 6-yard line, and the Hurricanes down at just terrible field position for the Dreadnaughts to try to do something here.
And now, for the first time, Manatee is getting the field position advantage. In the first half, Lakeland enjoyed the field position advantage, and now, with this punt, an excellent punt from Trey Walker, now Lakeland has their back against the wall.
From a defensive point of view, Denny, and I know you've coached defensive backs and been one yourself, is he playing that punt wrong? I mean, we know Trey Walker's an excellent punter, but of course that kick was end over end, didn't actually go that far, and he was playing it too deep.
Well, if you remember the last punt, though, it had sizable different yardage on it, and I think you can only go, one punt at a time.
He's out of
play
just off his fingertips.
Just out of the hands of, over the reach of Johnny Batman James.
You know, you've got to respect Gary Dees. He's got an awfully fine touch with that football.
He does, and in fact, the wide receivers run excellent routes as well. And Mark Jensen was coming over to cover, but he had a shot at going all the way because he had Brad Smith beaten pretty badly.
Of course, he had to get airborne to try to catch that one, and it was just off his fingertips, but that kind of timing pass, it's clear these guys work together a great deal trying to work something out like that. They come from the I formation. They split to both sides. You see our handheld camera shot down there of what D sees. The handoff straight in the middle to Lamar. Was that Lamar with the ball? Lee with the ball, I'm sorry.
Big 3rd down play coming up here, Jim. It's going to be 3rd and 8.
And we got about 4 minutes and 21 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The score 14-13 in favor of the Hurricanes. Dees wants his player to come in with the play, motioning him onto the field as fast as he can there. That's number 19, Johnny James, bringing the play in from the sideline. So Dees with a big 3rd down here, looking at 3rd down and 8. The ball spotted at his own 10-yard line. Again, he goes for the bomb out here. And his receiver's out there, but the ball's a little bit overthrown. Not quite enough arc on that one.
No, and also the defensive back was in a lot better position, and he was really breaking the peripheral vision of Johnny when he turned to the right side.
And just as you mentioned, Leon, this should be good field position coming up for the Hurricanes.
That's right. Brad Smith with an excellent defensive play. He was beating the previous play. He was there this time.
Would you expect with this kind of field position, I guess there's a good case could be made for the all-out rush or the return.
You know, Jim, I might add that Manatee traditionally plays a man-to-man defense in the secondary, much similar to the one that University of Texas plays.
Well, not a particularly good kick, but it gets a good roll, and it rolls out at about the 47-yard line of the Hurricanes. So, again, that's going to be great field position for them.
Lakeland has done a great job on both kicking units, keeping the ball away from Ronnie Mitchell. He's dangerous. Anytime he touches the ball, he could go all the way.
Well, he's just got blinding speed.
He really does, and I've got to give a lot of credit to Lakeland's kicking team, both punting and kickoffs.
All right, so Lakeland goes back on defense here. And Lewis comes out under center with the I-back formation behind him. He's got a receiver split to each side of the field, and he's got the ball still. He's going to pass. He's got a receiver down here, and he just overthrows him, and the ball was just missed for a pickoff.
That was Trey Walker, the tight end, and he was open on that play. Mike Lewis overthrew him just a bit.
All right, we'll be back after these messages, and we'll be right back with you.
You're looking at the first DeVoe Paint customer. At the time, we didn't want him to come back. But for 230 years, people have been coming back to DeVoe Paint with unswerving loyalty. Now, this month, celebrate our 230th birthday sale by saving up to $8 per gallon on exterior Wonder Shield and Regency house paints.
Available at Winter Haven Paint and Decorating Center, 844 6th Street Plaza, Northwest.
T-Shirt Junction has moved into its new location on Highway. T-Shirt Junction's creative staff can design just the right T-shirt,
ball cap or jersey for your business, group, or team.
And now T-Shirt Junction is a complete advertising specialty store.
And can imprint anything from keychains to pennants to coffee mugs.
T-Shirt Junction,
your one-stop imprint shop. Remember when poodle skirts and bobby socks were in style? Times have changed, but both moms and their daughters still go shopping together, and they find all the latest fashions at Robin Lynn. Robin Lynn carries all the new looks for fall, from distressed denim jeans, crop tops and sweaters, to coordinates and dresses. At Robin Lynn, you can expect the same friendly service and the latest styles, because Robin Lynn is fashion in the Grove Park Shopping Plaza, Lakeland.
Any coach knows that matching the right plays with the right players makes a championship team. Matthew Harris in the Grove Park Shopping Center has that winning combination to make you look great. Choose from our wide selection of slacks, sportswear, and sweaters. If you're looking for a suit or sports coat, expert in-house tailoring guarantees a perfect fit for that special occasion. Look no further than in Matthew Harris for Izod, Robert Bruce, Damon Austin Reed, Christian Dior, and Hart Schafter and Marks. Matthew Harris suits the best.
And now a few scenes from Manatee High School. Please stay tuned for more of the Manatee versus Lakeland play.
landscape architect of that time here. And he created this wonderful...
Well, while we were away there for just a moment, the only thing that you missed was a penalty by the Hurricanes. Set them back 5 yards, and on 2nd down and 15, they come with a pitch to this side, the other side of the field, and pick up most of that yardage back, and it's going to be very close to a first down.
That's Steve Gaskin going wide, and they shut Mike Lewis down. They denied that inside run, and as a result, he just pitched it wide.
Well, again, you know, we've talked about the option play throughout the year, and it is what you see it here on replay. It's one of the most difficult formations to face from a defensive point of view.
Well, yes, it is, especially from a cornerback situation, because on that play, the defensive end has the force. He has to make the quarterback make up his mind, and then the cornerback's responsibility is the pitch man.
And when you've got a mature quarterback like Lewis, it makes all the difference in the world.
And he can throw, he can pitch after he's been hit. Alfonso Clark just got the first down, and that's important. We were mentioning a little bit earlier about the senior offensive lineman. Another one that we did not mention earlier was Harry George, and he's 250 pounds, a big one. He's a senior. Eric Stickler at the other offensive line position, he's only a sophomore.
Well, again, like all great football dynasties, both of these teams have got youngsters coming up through the ranks that are just outstanding football players.
They certainly do, Jim. And you know, the Dreadnaughts or the Hurricanes wouldn't be where they are today with Bill Castle and Joe Canan alone. Bill always talks and likes to spread the wealth about the support people that he has working with him. His wide receiver coach is Eddie Postel, defensive coordinator Sid Kimbrell, Bob Leitner, the secondary coach, Bill Galloway, offensive line, and Ben McDaniel, the defensive line.
You know, I just can't see, Leon, what's springing that play there. Is it a trap block, or what is it that's making that play go?
Well, Manatee is pretty much of a right-handed team, and that has a lot to do with All-American candidate Richard Starweski. They don't have to do a lot of fancy blocks because generally they're 5 or 6 yards off the line right from the start, and when they get that kind of penetration into the defense, the play succeeds.
Well, also it gives when the quarterback opens to his left and then and fakes a handoff to the fullback and then comes back across, in other words, completes his turn and hands off to the other side. You hear that referred to as a cross-buck play sometimes, several different other names like that, misdirection type play and that type of thing. It really gives the blockers, not only do they have the size advantage perhaps like they do maybe tonight, but it also gives them advantage of the motion and maybe gets people one half step out of place.
Plus it gives time. I think Manatee feels that given enough time, they can push anybody out of the way, and that's why they line up so deep in the eye and give the running back enough time to see the hole and the lineman enough time to make the hole.
And, you know, of course, both these teams would not be where they are today and in this playoff game if it weren't for excellent conditioning. But we do have to talk about the concept of both teams, or perhaps one of them, getting worn down first. There's a handoff again to Gaskin. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. And that
defense holds, Jim, on 3rd and 3.
That's a 3rd down and 3 play, so that's going to bring up 4th down.
Banks Allen did a great job. Also, Amos White in on the tackle there. And once again, they needed the big play, and the Dreadnought defense came in with it. Now, Canan's boys are saying, let's go for it, Coach. And he's decided, okay, let's go for it.
Well, Mays has brought in the play from Coach Canan, and Manatee has gone on 4th and short, particularly in this area of the field often, and they usually succeed.
Well, it really is about 4th down and 2 here. We'll have to see what they run. They come with the I-back formation. Of course, they got Gaskin 7 yards off the ball. They come with the option play, and Lewis is stacked up at the line of scrimmage and doesn't get it. Well, if you're looking at it from a momentum point of view, that may be a shift in momentum when a defense can hold.
It looked like Mike Lewis couldn't decide what to do, whether he wanted to run or pitch, and it was really a great defensive play by Lakeland.
Well, I guess, again, you know, we talk about how the option play works. One of the things that here you see, like you say, it looks like he can't decide which way to go. Of course, he's when you say he can't decide, he's got people in 5 different directions, but this is a series. This is a type of offensive set that really, if you got any kind of hesitation, it's going to get stalled.
Jim, that tackle was made once again by 77, Lorenzo Adam, the sophomore. In fact, he's playing there this evening because of the injury to Benny Johnson, the regular starter at defensive tackle.
And Dees hands off to his own tailback, and he's got some good yardage right up the middle, Raymond Lee. And you saw a defensive back there. I hope he's not injured on that play. He tried to keep from hitting the play, and it looked like he might have pulled a leg muscle.
That's Vince Crawford, and he's holding out onto his thigh a little bit, but I guess he's okay. He's going to stay in.
Well, he was doing everything he could to keep from falling on the pile so he didn't get charged with anything, and I think he may have hurt himself trying to stay off of it. All right, the I formation slot to this side of the field. The handoff to the tailback again. He stiff arms one defender, but he's caught at about the line of scrimmage. He might have actually lost a yard on the play. That was 2nd down and 3 there, and that's the last play of the 3rd quarter. Now we're going to have a break in the action here, and while we have a break in the action, let's hear a word from some of our sponsors.
I want you tonight. I want you.
Carpentry, industrial electricity, masonry, plumbing, diesel mechanics, welding. Ridge Vocational Technical Center has it all and has classes to fit your schedule, programs to fit your needs, and instruction to fit your skills. Ridge Votech, comprehensive, flexible, personal. Let Ridge Votech open your doors to the jobs of the 80s. Call 299-2512 for more information on exciting opportunities awaiting you at Ridge Vocational Technical Center. That's 299-2512.
For the largest selection of balloons in Polk County, come to Balloonatics in the Lakeland Mall. At Balloonatics, you can choose from a wide selection of masks, costumes, novelty items, and collectibles.
Have an orange gorilla deliver a colorful bouquet to your next birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, where there's always plenty of pizza, soft drinks, prizes, and just plain old fun, especially at Chuck E. Cheese's popular teen disco every Saturday night. Balloonatics and Chuck E. Cheese, just 2 of many exciting places to shop and eat in the Lakeland Mall.
Where's John?
Here I am. I have good news for you today. For a limited time, we at Cypress Tire are giving up to $40 off our low sale prices on Michelin steel-belted radial tires. We need trade-ins now, and every tire you buy from Cypress Tire and trade in your old tire will give you $10 off the tire, with a limit of $40 on a set of 4 tires. This is a limited offer, so come on in and see us today. In Winter Haven in front of Kmart, and in Arbondale in front of Scotty's.
Take home one of these cute puppies from Perfect Pets in the Lakeland Mall. Perfect Pets is Polk County's most complete pet store with a large selection of hand-fed parrots and other birds, fresh and saltwater fish, and the always popular AKC-registered lovable puppies.
Not too far from Perfect Pets is Athletic Attic, which carries the largest selection of sports shoes in Polk County. Athletic Attic specializes in aerobic wear for women and equipment for practically all individual and team sports. Perfect Pets and Athletic Attic, 2 exciting places to shop in the Lakeland Mall.
We're back with you for the 4th quarter in a 1-point ball game, 14-13 in favor of the Hurricanes. Dreadnaughts with the ball at their own 45-yard line. 3rd down and 3. Bootleg coming to this side of the field. There's the pass. His receiver's down there, but he falls down. I don't believe he was pushed down. I think he just lost his footing.
And that was Brad Smith on the coverage. The previous play, Vince Crawford, who was hurt, who appeared to be hurt, he strung out that play very nicely. So the Manatee secondary makes 2 good plays back to back. And here's a spot where you may see some kind of a trick play, 4th and short, and you may see a trick here, possibly, for Lakeland.
David Matos, the regular punter, back in there to punt for the Dreadnaughts.
And he's had some good success, Leon was mentioning earlier, keeping the ball away from the return man. Again, his kick is off to the right side of the field, going toward the sideline. It takes a Lakeland bounce back over to the center of the field, but too close to the defenders for the receiver to try to pick up. Rolls dead at about the 13, 14-yard line.
And Matos has really been an offensive weapon for the Dreadnaughts tonight. He's kept the ball away from Ronnie Mitchell. He keeps it near the sidelines, and it's awfully tough for Ronnie to get his hands on the ball.
Okay. Matos is only a junior, Jim, so they're expecting big things from him next year.
So that's going to bring up 1st down and 10. First possession for Manatee of the 4th quarter. And they're going to have the ball, looks like at about, as I say, about their own 13-yard line. Score 14-13 in their favor. All right, Lewis still with the ball. He pitches. His pitch man makes a cut back to the inside. He's got some good yardage. He's close to a 1st down. Well, he got spun around there. I think he's going to be a couple of yards short, but he picked up 7 or 8 yards on the play.
was Don Houston for the Dreadnaughts, and that's a very tough stop to make in the open field one-on-one.
Well, the initial mistake was made by number 18 right here, the cornerback who comes up, who's got the pitch man, was out of position, and he let the lane open for him to cut back in. He should be on the man's inside shoulder, forcing him anywhere, if he goes anywhere, to the out-of-bounds area.
Fine tackle, fine open field tackle there.
Great job there by Chris Fry, the senior defensive tackle.
Well, you know, we were talking earlier about how you handle the option play, and one of the things I think that's a key to that is whoever you are as a defender, whether your responsibility is the dive man, the quarterback, or the pitch man, you absolutely cannot leave your feet.
No.
Both of y'all apparently agree with that.
Well, and it's one of the, speaking from a cornerback's position, it's one of the toughest things to teach a young man. You have to remember, these kids are only 16, 17.
All right, the handoff to the tailback. He gets a full head of steam coming into that line of scrimmage. You know, that makes a lot of difference. Leon, he's 7 yards deep. He's running full tilt when he gets to the line of scrimmage.
And in fact, I think that full head of steam was the only thing that made that play go for a first down, because there really wasn't much of a hole there at all. He just pushed the pile back.
He sure hit whatever there was of a hole, he sure hit it running wide open. Well, we've got somebody limping off the field for the Dreadnaughts here. That's number 22, Barnett Driver.
Well, Jim, you know, I've noticed all the ones that are hurt seem to be the boys in the secondary, which could be, knowing the way that Coach Canan is and knowledgeable, could be a turn for Manatee. We've got Barnett Driver out with the leg cramps. We've got Donald Milton, the strong safety, out with leg cramps. Number 18 is a replacement, Jay Swanson at the cornerback position, as is number 31, Darren Hamilton, at the strong safety position. You really only have at this time 2 starters in the secondary, so it could be very, very instrumental to Manatee.
Well, it makes a lot of difference, too, when you call on those guys to make so many doggone tackles like we've been talking about. When that back comes loose through the line of scrimmage unmolested, it makes it tough on the defensive backs.
And throughout the year, these guys have not played a lot of football.
And he stripped to the ball. Lakeland's got it. My goodness, what a break.
And the turnovers have really hurt Manatee. That's the 3rd fumble on the evening. Lakeland has 1 turnover on interception, but the turnovers +2 for Lakeland has really made a difference and kept Lakeland in this game.
Well, again, you know, we talk about hits causing fumbles and that sort of thing. It looked like, and we may see here, we see it on. It looks like he stripped to the ball. You see, the hand just comes in and knocks it loose.
He was hit initially by the linebacker there, and with one hand, or with Chris Fry, I mean, the defensive tackle, one hand went through and just pierced the ball out of his hands.
Knees under center with his eye back behind him. And he comes and hands off to the halfback on off tackle to the left, and he's still running with the football, picks up about 3 yards on the play.
Once again, that was Raymond Lee, the workhorse for the Dreadnaughts all season at tailback, chugging there for some extra yardage and a sizable gain for Lakeland.
You know, both of these teams come into this game, of course, very highly touted. Lakeland and, of course, Manatee ranked number 1 in the state. I don't know what the final ranking was for Lakeland, but I know they were. At any rate, you're saying honorable mention. I thought I remembered them being ranked somewhere in there, but of course, their only loss of the season, as I recall, is to the Winter Haven team.
Okay, well, they lost another one also to Merritt Island.
Merritt Island.
And as the season concluded, they were ranked. They got honorable mention ranking. In fact, Sarasota Riverview was ranked above Lakeland.
I see. Okay. All right, I didn't see what the penalty was on that flag. I don't know. I didn't see any kind of flagrant activity out there, so we'll see what we got.
And the cheer has gone up on the Lakeland side here, so it may be possibly a late hit against Manatee.
That's what they're going. Let's see what they're going to call. They call personal foul, so it may have been. They may have called it late. I didn't see what the nature of the penalty was, but let's see if we can tell here. Okay, the Lakeland runner is stacked up in the line. That's Lee, right? I believe. Well, I still didn't see the penalty. Well, that keeps the drive alive. You see a part of that enthusiastic Lakeland crowd.
As you can tell, our cameraman wasn't concerned with who hit the late hit. He wanted to picture these fans.
That's right. And, of course, that's what makes these high school programs go, too.
You know, Jim, if we could get this kind of a crowd out here for both teams at every home game they play, it would really make a difference to these programs because, believe me, they live off of the crowds. Both these teams, their football programs, support every other sport in the school.
All right, D's under center. He's got receivers split both ways. Lee with the ball on the sprint to the right sideline. He just runs over one tackler, and he picks up 3 or 4 yards on the play.
That was an excellent run by Lee, and I was kind of surprised to see that kind of power out of him as he really knocked the Manatee defender on his back.
Well, it looked like he didn't meet him very solid. You know, I think he kind of ended up waiting.
Another good shot. Here it is again. You'll see Raymond outrun 2 of these defenders, and then the defensive back jumps on his chest, and he just carries him with him for another 3 or 4 or 5 yards.
Well, I guess one of the challenges as a defensive back is whether you're going to take on an offensive runner high or low. All right, they come with a slot split to this side of the field. High back formation, D's under center. He comes with a handoff to Lee in the middle. He's driving for the end zone, and he stopped just short of the end zone.
Boy, the last 2 runs, Jim, by Lee have just shown an awful lot of drive, motivation. Lee is smelling that end zone. Possibly his last game for the Dreadnaughts, so he doesn't want it to be the last game.
Well, he certainly is running like a man possessed, driving legs hard going forward, and he almost had that touchdown. He just ran into a few too many people down there, and watch on the replay here. You'll see he goes in there and legs just keep driving, and you're absolutely right. He smells that end zone down there, and he wants in there. Okay, again, the handoff to Lee in the middle. And he's in there for the touchdown.
Once again, Jim, the Dreadnaughts taking the turnover from Manatee and getting good field position on the 40-44 and then driving it down on a good drive to score. With the score now 15-14. 19, excuse me.
To 14.
And now Castle makes the decision, do I go for 2?
That's right. Your big question is, are you going to go for 2 here?
I would think he has nothing to lose by going for 2 here. They're already more than a field goal ahead, and 2 field goals in 6:22 is not really much of a likelihood. I think he would want to challenge Manatee to have to go for 2.
And that's what he's going to do. You see it lined up in almost a full house backfield. They've got a slot to the right. And there's a flag on the play. Looks like it might be a procedure call. I believe that's a legal procedure.
Now, here's an interesting call for Coach Castle. Does he try it again, or does he settle for the extra point here?
Well, I think you've hit the point right on the head, and that is 5 points ahead, 5 points ahead or 6 points ahead is not going to make any difference. If their touchdown ties it, all they have to do to kick, and they got a perfect kicker, all they have to do is kick to win. So I think he's got to make them. I think he's got to make them kick to tie, and got to make them go for 2.
And interesting, looking at the scoreboard right now, this is the exact same as the final score of last year's game, with the exception that Manatee came out on top.
How well we remember that game, Jim Knox and I.
That's right, in the band section. We got a timeout on the field, and let's hear a word from a couple of sponsors while we've got this break in the action. We'll be right back with this action.
Oh, it's so great.
Is this how your family spends a typical Saturday?
Come on, lawnmower. Ryan! Okay, guys, stop it. Come on. Good stuff going here tonight. Thanks.
Get away from it all in a camper from Conabear.
He needs it. She needs it. He needs it. She needs it. They need it. And you need it. Measured, repeatable exercise for arms, upper and lower body, rain or shine, on the best and only exerciser of its kind anywhere. The Schwinn Airdyne, sold and serviced exclusively by your nearby Schwinn dealer.
Any coach knows that matching the right plays with the right players makes a championship team. Matthew Harris in the Grove Park Shopping Center has that winning combination to make you look great. Choose from our wide selection of slacks, sportswear, and sweaters. If you're looking for a suit or sports coat, expert in-house tailoring guarantees a perfect fit for that special occasion. Look no further than in Matthew Harris for Izod, Robert Bruce, Damon Austin Reed, Christian Dior, and Hart Shafter and Marks. Matthew Harris suits the best.
You're looking at the first DeVoe Paint customer. At the time, we didn't want him to come back. But for 230 years, people have been coming back to DeVoe Paint with unswerving loyalty. Now, this month, celebrate our 230th birthday sale by saving up to $8 per gallon on exterior Wonder Shield and Regency house paints.
Available at Winter Haven Paint and Decorating Center, 844 6th Street Plaza, Northwest.
And it's first down and 10. Here's a halfback pass play. He gets his pass away, and it's almost intercepted in the end zone. My goodness, it was close down there. All right, so the extra point fails. So that makes the score 19-14 with 6 minutes and 22 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And I assume, Denny, you kick straight away here.
If you don't fall.
Yeah, if you don't fall on the kickoff, huh?
Boy, the crowd is electrified. I was just telling Jim a minute ago, I've never seen so many people, and Leon, so many people at a Lakeland High School game. We're a capacity crowd at Bryant Stadium.
And a very loud capacity crowd on both sides.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of people up here from Bradenton, and this is a
different
fine
when you and
crowd.
I did the Brooksville game in Brooksville.
Yes, sir. All right, here's the kickoff. A nice deep kick. Comes down at about the 12-yard line. Brought straight back up the middle. He runs into a host of Lakeland Dreadnaught tacklers. The ball's down at about the 26-yard line. The defense is fired up.
Well, Jim, you know, the winner of this game will play the winner of the Pensacola-Woodham Columbia Lake City game next Friday night.
And do you know
Correct me if I'm wrong, Leon. It was.
I believe that's right.
Pensacola-Woodham.
That's right.
And then one of the things I didn't pick up following this in the Tampa paper, who's playing in the other district? I know Miami was playing. I think Southridge was playing one of the other Miami schools.
Southridge is in. I believe Vero Beach is also still in. Not quite sure.
Winter Park is playing Vero Beach tonight, Jim.
Well, you see more cramps down
Miami.
here.
And we have an injured Dreadnought. It looks like another cramp situation there.
Well,
you know, this is going to be a situation I'm sure Bill Castle takes a look at. There you go on the monitor. You can see Lakeland was the last team to defeat Manatee 2 years ago. Tonight, no, it wasn't 2 years ago tonight, but it was during the regular season. It was here at Bryant Stadium. They did lose another game, Leon tells us, but it was a postseason game in a bowl game with Miami Southridge. But the last district game they lost, or during the season game, was against Lakeland. Shot of the Manatee cheerleaders.
And obviously Manatee has their backs against the wall, but Manatee has, despite the fact that they're a power team and don't really need to resort to the trick play, they have pulled a few during the season, done some reverses. In fact, they did one play where Mike Lewis caught a touchdown pass. So we could see something like that here.
Well, again, though, they've got plenty of time to run their set offense and move it down the field if they think they're going to have success with it. There's a handoff in the middle for about a 6-yard gain.
And, Jim, I wish the people could see, right prior to the snap of the ball, both sides of the stadium are on their feet. It's just, it makes a whole different atmosphere, and I'm sure that noise and enthusiasm is penetrating those black and red helmets down there and making these kids play just a little bit tougher.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know where you could have found two more evenly matched teams. These teams have played each other just toe-to-toe all night and just played an excellent brand of football.
Of course, Manatee's on a win streak of 25 consecutive games.
And it's clear why they are, because they're just an outstanding football team. There's a handoff to the tailback. Again, he's got a little running room out to the right sideline. He's being dragged down over there at the sideline with a saving tackle.
And you know, Jim, what's impressive, Coach Canan is not in a panic situation. He's playing continuously the same type of football that has accrued the points he has on the scoreboard now. He's playing ball control, going to the fullback, going to the tailback.
And that's the tailback, Slick Gaskin. He gets around the outside, and he gets about 4 or 5 extra yards on his own, carrying a tackler with him.
Okay, there was a flag on the play. I don't know if they called that sling down unnecessary roughness, but we'll see what they're going to march off. Whatever it is, it's going against the Dreadnaughts, and that's going to be and it was called as a face mask penalty. And that's going to cost them 15, and that really changes the complexion of things here. You see the Manatee fans that are down here tonight, and they turned out in number. Again, we had a
Jim, you know, that can very easily happen. That defensive back had a hold of his shirt, and that's all he had. Then he had to grab and grab and grab, and what he grabbed was a mask.
All right, we come with the option play to the left side of the field. He's met about a yard down the field by the defense and stacked up there. So that's going to bring up second down, about 9 yards to go for a first. The ball is spotted about the 42-yard line of the Lakeland Dreadnaughts.
I think that was a very important play for the Lakeland defense. Several successful running plays in a row from Manatee. The big penalty, Manatee on the march. They needed to show that they could stop the Canes there, and they did.
Again, more of that fine crowd that's here tonight. And I'll tell you, they have really packed this Bryant Stadium. I don't know when I've been here and seen a crowd this size.
Probably back years ago when Plant City played here and you were the quarterback.
No, sir. No, never. Straight ahead handoff, and he's picked up. He fumbles the football, but looks like Manatee recovered it. Manatee falls on the fumble after a gain of about 4 or 5 yards on the play. He's going to bring up third down. Well, actually lost yardage on the fumble, so only picked up a net of about 2. That's going to bring up third down and about 6 yards to go for a first.
And I think that was Mike Lewis who recovered that fumble, as we see on the replay. Alfonso Clark breaks off a nice run, loses the ball, and look at the quickness of Mike Lewis. He was about 10 yards off that ball, and he was in there before anybody could get close.
Now, real easy for a quarterback to lay off and just lay out there and not get involved in the play, but he's following the play all the way down the field.
Jim, 3rd and 6 for the Hurricanes.
Third down and 6, and he's back to pass. Lewis still with the ball. He's got his receiver down there, and he just overthrows him, just off his fingertips. Everybody in the press box stood up but me, too. Is there a flag on the play? Is that what they're calling back?
That's going to bring up 4th and 6.
That's right. It brings up 4th down and 6.
Time. Leon, what do you think?
I would suspect he might go for it here. Of course, the field goal is not going to do much good, but it's a little bit too far away anyway. Lakeland's going to call a timeout and make Coach Canan think about it.
All right, so Lakeland's got a timeout here, and while there's a break in the action, we'll get a chance to bring you these messages, and we'll be back with the last 4 minutes and 1 second of this exciting football game after these messages.
It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to
T-Shirt Junction has moved into its new location on Highway 92 between Lakeland and Auburndale.
And is better able to meet all your specialty advertising and imprinted sportswear needs.
T-Shirt Junction's creative staff can design just the right T-shirt,
ball cap or jersey for your business, group, or team.
And now T-Shirt Junction is a complete advertising specialty store.
And can imprint anything from keychains to pennants to coffee mugs.
T-Shirt Junction,
your one-stop imprint shop. Remember when poodle skirts and bobby socks were in style? Times have changed, but both moms and their daughters still go shopping together, and they find all the latest fashions at Robin Lynn. Robin Lynn carries all the new looks for fall, from distressed denim jeans, crop tops and sweaters, to coordinates and dresses. At Robin Lynn, you can expect the same friendly service and the latest styles, because Robin Lynn is fashion in the Grove Park Shopping Plaza, Lakeland.
For the the largest selection of balloons in Polk County, come to Balloonatics in the Lakeland Mall. At Balloonatics, you can choose from a wide selection of masks, costumes, novelty items, and collectibles.
Have an orange gorilla deliver a colorful bouquet to your next birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, where there's always plenty of pizza, soft drinks, prizes, and just plain old fun, especially at Chuck E. Cheese's popular teen disco every Saturday night. Balloonatics and Chuck E. Cheese, just two of many exciting places to shop and eat in the Lakeland Mall.
Carpentry, industrial electricity, masonry, plumbing, diesel mechanics, welding. Ridge Vocational Technical Center has it all and has classes to fit your schedule, programs to fit your needs, and instruction to fit your skills. Ridge Votech, comprehensive, flexible, personal. Let Ridge Votech open your doors to the jobs of the 80s. Call 299-2512 for more information on exciting opportunities awaiting you at Ridge Vocational Technical Center. That's 299-2512.
Here's a decision play, 4th down and 6. And he's back to pass. Lewis still has the ball. He's going to run it. And he pulls up short. He doesn't get it.
Well, the crowd erupts over here on this side, Jim. He didn't get it. He ran, selected to run, and went down. He was about 1.5 yards short.
Well, it's the play he wanted to run, though.
I think that was what he wanted to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if he intended to run all along. I don't really think he was going to pass there. And as you said, the Lakeland defense rose to the occasion.
Well, again, that kind of rollout action, typically you don't have all 5 of your receivers out on a play like that. You're going to keep several of them in the block. He probably's got 1 or 2 receivers down there, and once they're covered, he just goes ahead and takes a run. He was very close to it. Fine defense, broke it up. All right, so Gary Dees with the ball. Hand off to his tailback, Lee. He's going to be stacked up there and dragged out of bounds.
The big thing here, Jim, is the clock. Lakeland, of course, with 3:27 left to go, they've got to move the football.
And the one thing they don't want to do is go out of bounds.
That's exactly right. Another thing that really would effectively, not necessarily kill Manatee, but make it very difficult for them to come back would be a first down. If they can keep Lakeland from getting a first down, Manatee will have the ball with time on the clock. If they don't, then Lakeland could tick the clock away.
During the course of the year, again, we haven't had the opportunity to see Manatee at all. Are they likely to rush a punt to try to block it?
Yes, they would be in this case.
All right, the straight ahead run. He's brought down again at about the line of scrimmage for no gain. That's going to bring up 3rd down. He might have picked up maybe 1 yard on the play.
And Manatee's going to call a timeout here, Mr. Knox.
All right, so they're going to take a timeout to talk about it. And, you know, one of the things that we talk about that really, I think, gives an advantage to a high school team is you take a timeout, the coach gets a chance to come out on the field and talk to all of the players to tell them what he wants them to do so he doesn't have to relay it to them secondhand. I think it makes a lot of difference.
Well, you know, when they changed that rule, back when I was coaching, if we had a defense, if we were on the field with defense, I was permitted to go to the hash mark and talk to one player. And it's very hard to convey, especially if you found one mistake or one situation you want to change with your tackles or your linebackers, unless it was a secondary problem, then that man had to relate all the information to the defense.
Well, in this case, Coach Canan and his staff get a chance to go out and exhort that defense to do right.
That's right, and this, I would have to say, is the biggest play of the game to this point. If Manatee can stop them here, they'll have plenty of time to take the ball in, and of course a good chance to block a punt.
You think it's likely then that rather than trying to put the return on, they might go for the block in that kind of situation?
Well, they've been dropping back for the return every time, and Matos has done such a good job keeping the ball away from Ronnie Mitchell, it seems like the block's the only way to go.
All right, D's under center. He takes a snap. He's still got the ball. He's out here to pass. He's got a receiver down there, and he catches the ball. It's a first down.
What a beautiful catch by Johnny Batman James. A diving catch that could be the straw that broke the Hurricanes' back.
Well, he really cradled that pass in. He ran a fine route. You talked about that earlier.
That's an incredible play from Lakeland. A great play both by D's. We see the replay. He's really poised, but he does have plenty of time to throw. He gets it between the lineman's hands, and there's no way to defend a play like that.
No, the defenders were in the right position. They defended the play well. Just a magnificent catch makes a difference. All right, inside 3 minutes, straight up the middle to Raymond Lee.
Raymond Lee breaks it up there very close to a first down.
All right, the ball's now resting at about the 40-yard line of the Hurricanes, and the Dreadnoughts have really taken over.
See where the momentum is at this point,
Yes,
Jim.
sir. And we're down at 2 minutes and 37 seconds and the clock running.
And I would have to say here that if Manatee doesn't stop the Dreadnoughts in this series, the ball game's just about over.
You know, we say at Centel, the game's never over until Jim Knox sings.
That's until I say it's over. That's right. Okay, the handoff in the middle to the fullback. He picks up maybe a yard on the play, but stacked up pretty well by that Manatee defense.
And the Hurricanes call another timeout, Jim.
That was Chuck Howard on the stop.
Well, they got to stop the clock again. Now Raymond Lee has had the tendency when he goes into the line on that dive play that we saw that he was dragged out of bounds earlier. He's been breaking it wide on his own all night. And that's worked pretty well for him. He's not lost any yardage on that kind of thing.
No, and it's hard. As Leon was talking a few seconds ago, it's difficult to take Raymond now and say, okay, Raymond, we don't want you running for the sidelines because that's going to, of course, entail stopping the clock. We want you to hit up through the middle and see if you can garnish any yards.
But I think Lakeland would be very satisfied, even if it meant going to the sidelines here to get the first down.
Do either of you have any idea where that game would be played, assuming that the score prevails and that Lakeland should win? Have you heard where that game might be played, the game against if Woodham wins, for instance?
Well, I know that had Manatee won, and of course there still is the chance that that might happen,
yes, sir.
It would have been in Manatee. I don't know the situation with it depends on the even or odd number district.
It depends on really who wins. If Lake City wins, it may be in Lake City. If Woodham wins, it may be here. Or in one of these two schools. 3rd and 2, Jim.
All right, a great big down for him. 2 minutes and 11 seconds left. And, of course, Manatee has wisely used their timeouts. The straight-ahead play to Raymond Lee. He's going to be close to his first down. I don't know if they're going to measure or not. Well, this brings up
I think he has it.
Well, he certainly got a good surge there. Is that a flag down on the play? I can't tell down there.
No, Jim, that's a white, looks like a little piece of towel.
Okay.
They are going to measure.
Okay, so very important measurement here. Gary D says he can't tell what it is.
And, of course, Jim, no one has left this stadium yet.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a very quick ball game with so much running that we've had tonight, and they do get their first down. You can tell by Gary D's reaction there. Well, it's just been excellent conditions for a football game tonight. The breeze never did kick up again, and it's not been as cold tonight as it has been the last couple of nights.
It has been an excellent night for football and an excellently played football game on both sides of the ball.
As you can see, the clock's running at 1:46, and first down and 10 for the Dreadnaughts. Now, if I remember correctly, I think that Manatee's taken all 3 of their second half timeouts. I don't believe they're going to be able to stop the clock again. Dees is not just falling on the ball, though, so we'll see. There, he picked up about a yard on the play. He's a little slow getting up.
And that clock is running quickly now. 1:19, 1:18, 17, 16, 15. And it's definitely an enemy of the Manatee Hurricanes.
Well, I assume that they must be out of timeouts at this point. As I recall, they took one early in the second half, and then they've taken 2 in a row down here. So the fans are starting to get ready to count it down. We're now inside a minute. Gary D's under center. Second down and 9. Second down and 8. He hands off to his tailback, Lee. He's straight ahead, but he's stacked up at the line of scrimmage, and the clock continues to run.
Well, Jim, they've got 2 plays to run.
I think we've got a little bit of an injury here on the linebacker.
For an injury.
That's Chuck Howard, the injured Cane, and it looks almost like his neck or collarbone.
Well, he looked like, the way he grabbed up in there, looked like shoulder separation maybe, or collarbone, something like that. I certainly hope it's nothing like that.
Chuck Howard is the middle linebacker. That's the heart of the defense. But regardless of that, you hate to see anybody go down hurt.
And it's been such a well-played game. There's been a lot of good, clean sportsmanship on both sides of the football.
Just an excellently played game. And, of course, you know, we had the same feeling last year. I think last year's game was you see 37 seconds left on the inset there. Last year's game was just an extremely tough ball game, but very clean, very well played.
I might add that Howard is all right. He's going off on his own power.
And, you know, you were talking about last year's game, and it looks very much like we're going to have the same score with the home team coming out on top, 19-14. It's quite ironic to have that kind of situation 2 years in a row.
All right, this brings up 3rd down and 8, and this may be the last play of the game right here. All right, and Dees just falls down with the ball, and they can run it out from here. They're not going to have to call another snap.
You know what's fantastic, Jim, is many times, here's a team with 25 straight victories, and look at those guys on that field. There's no problems. What a great football game.
Well, just a magnificent victory. We're going to stay with you here just a second and take a look at some of these fans. They are extremely excited. They've got an awful lot to be proud of. And I'll tell you, this Manatee team has got a lot to be proud of, too. They played an awfully tough Lakeland game tonight.
They sure did, and they played a very good game. In fact, had they not for a couple of key turnovers and an excellent Lakeland defensive game plan, they were probably the only team all year that was able to contain both Mike Lewis and the pitch man. That hasn't happened all year long, and Lakeland did that, and I can't remember that happening.
Well, again, one of the best high school football games I've ever seen, and an excellently played game. We'll be back in just a minute with a wrap-up of tonight's game after these messages.
Something special seems to happen when you put a kid on a Schwinn BMX.
And there's Donnie Atherton, the national BMX champ in position 3. Atherton takes a quick lead, followed by Bobby Carlton and Jerry Field. It's Atherton into the straightaway.
For every Schwinn BMX that makes headlines winning a race, thousands of other Schwinns win races
Atherton first.
you never hear about.
Is this how your family spends a typical Saturday?
Come on, lawnmower.
Ryan! Okay, guys, stop it.
Come on.
Good
stuff going here tonight.
Thanks.
Get away from it all in a camper from Conabear.
Lakeland Dreadnaughts, another win tonight on the way to the state championship. Denny, you got Coach Bill Castle and quarterback Gary Dees with you. I know you wanted to ask him a couple of questions here for the wrap-up.
We've also got Barnett Driver. Barnett, come on in here. Bill, one of the biggest wins of your career after 9 years here at Lakeland Senior. How about just quickly maybe highlighting some of the things you think about why the scoreboard reads 19, Lakeland 14 visitors?
I will tell you the biggest reason because this team has got to display the most courage and pride that I've ever been associated with a team, and I couldn't say that this is the most proudest moment of my coaching career. I'm extremely proud of this football team. They just displayed a lot of courage, and it just every one of our team just played their hearts out. I've just never been proud of a team.
Castle, you're going to get my eyes misty out here in a minute. Gary Dees also had an outstanding night tonight at quarterback, leading the helm, the one everybody counts on. Gary, what did you think about the ball game?
It was a great ball game, and we did a good job. I think the team stuck together, came back in the second half, and played football.
And you were playing the number 2 team in the nation?
Yeah.
And Barnett Driver, stellar defensive back the whole year for the Dreadnaughts. Barnett, what keeps that defense, who's smaller, a little bit slower, maybe not as quick as some of the teams we played, had 2 starters back this year. What has made you guys gel?
I think everybody was hungry for it, I guess. We was hungry for the big win, and it was time for us. We done been here 3 times, and it was our time. I really think so.
Do you have your pen with you?
I left it on the bus. I'm ready to put it to work, though.
Well, congratulations to all of you. I know you need to get back to the team bus. We'll finish the wrap up here, but you're going to be playing the winner of the Woodham Lake City game tonight, and it's going to be played here, Coach. Okay, we'll be here with Centel bringing it. Okay, thanks very much. Congratulations to you. Congratulations, Gary. Coach, congratulations. Well, great game tonight. Same score as last year's game, 19-14, only this year the Dreadnaughts prevail.
That's right, and you know, it's just an ironic turnabout from last year. You know, Lakeland went down there, and of course you and I know behind the tuba section where we had to do the game, capacity crowd down there. Lakeland had the ball towards the latter part of the game, momentum moving, then a turnover. The 4th down throw by the quarterback, turned the ball over to Manatee, and they ran the clock out. Here tonight, and like Bill said, you know, there's not 1 or 2 stars that shine on that defense. The turnovers, of course, were very important tonight's game. Manatee turned the ball over 3 times on fumbles. But the thing about turnovers, once they hit the ground, they're anybody's ball. Lakeland was fortunate enough to get on them and turn them into some situations. But the passing game with Dees tonight, I think, was the other thing. I don't think we had the stellar running game. Of course, when Lee was called on towards the end zone, he did the job. But the plays that Dees and Johnny James and Joe Shepard, the other quarterback, came in to throw, the passing game was what had to go to beat Manatee because they couldn't do it up against that front 7.
And it makes a lot of difference. I know that this was a very prideful team last year that went down to Bradenton. They played an awfully tough game down there and lost just by a hair's breadth. They had something to prove this year.
But you know what's great, as Bill, and I'm going to re-accentuate what Bill said. Last year's team had David Williams, had Craig Haskins, who had been a starter for 2 years at quarterback, had many, many returners, and everybody, you know, put them up as a perennial state champion. When they got beat by Manatee, then the tide turned to Manatee. This year, 2 starters back on defense, 3 back on offense. Raymond Lee, a linebacker last year, now a tailback. Rufus Lamar, an offensive end last year, now a fullback. And Gary Dees' first year has given the reins. And, you know, a lot of times they gel together, they grow together, they mature together. And on paper, there may be a lot of teams, size for size and speed for speed, but they played as a unit.
Well, they're on their way to a state championship tonight. They're going to play the winner of the Pensacola Woodham and the Lake City Columbia game. Look in your papers and see where that game, see who won that game. And we're going to be here at Bryant Stadium next week to bring you that ball game. Again, the final score tonight, 19-14 in favor of the Dreadnaughts, and they're on their way to state. Jim Knox, along with Denny Dunn and Leon Harris, bringing you tonight's ball game. And we'll be back with you next week to catch this juggernaut as it rolls on to state.